Well, good morning, everybody, and sorry for the delay. Thank you, Nathaniel, for getting here and for making a quorum for us. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the December 16th, 2021 meeting. And it's moved by Bob Nealon and seconded by Cecilia Robinson Woods. Would you all please vote? And the approval has passed. Second item on the agenda is to receive the MAPS 3 revenue and expenditure report ending in December. And David, if you'll help us with that, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this is the revenue and expenditure report for the period ending December 31st, 2021. You have in your packet in its usual form. On the revenue side for the month, $72,416, fiscal year of $397,102, and total of $836,662,480. On the expenditure side for the month, $342,363. For the year, $10,739,773, and for total on the expenditures, $754,600,050. Then you also have your budget and obligations report for the period ending January 5th, 2022. I'll try to answer any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions? Would anyone like to make a motion? It's moved by Bob Nealon, seconded by Nathaniel Harding. Would you please place your vote? And it is passed. So moving on, we have a presentation of construction updates of MAP 3 Lower Scissortail Park, Project M3P016.
So we like to bring you periodically an update on what's going on with the program. And the biggest project we have going on right now is the Lower Park. Gavin McMillan is here today from Hargreaves Jones to give you an update on Lower Park construction.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for making it out on such a cold morning. As David said, we'll give you a brief update. As you recall, the upper park's sitting there, and this is part 2, making the connection all the way to the river, core to shore. Just to remind you of the plan, the sports area is towards the interstate on the north end of this park, and then the promenade links from Skydarts Bridge all the way down to the river, which is anchored by a hill and what we call the Hill Pavilion. I'm going to briefly talk about construction progress, and then just a quick overview of the change order, which is the next item on your agenda. I'm happy to report construction progress has been very good. We've had a lot of luck with weather and no delays from utilities or underground obstacles that we were blessed with last year. This is earlier April last year, just to let you know how far we've come, where earthworks was underway. September last year, where we got a little bit of sod on the hill down there. And then this is January, with you can see the promenade coming out in terms of the sub-base. But also, Public Works has been busy as well and have demolished that road that goes underneath the bridge there and has got topsoil. So it now kind of appears like the park is connecting to the river. This is the drone images as we fly over, and we're going to fly from south to north. So we're flying over the hill here. You can see the promenade concrete work there, some of the benches coming to the ground, the Hill Pavilion there on Robinson Avenue, the meandering mid-block pathway, and the gray object there is actually a rain garden, so that has no topsoil in it yet. That way it looks kind of gray. We're flying over the middle of the park, and we're looking at the large rectangles there, which is the sub-base underneath the sports courts in the foreground, 2 basketball courts sized. The middle ground is 4 pickleball courts, and the area that just has some gray in there is the futsal court, the very small soccer fields. And you can see Skydance Bridge there, the path coming down from Skydance and heading west through the existing trees. We're flying over closer to Skydance. You can see some of the irrigation go in there. We're moving west. You can see how that pathway moves underneath the trees there, and the workers are busy in that area now. You can just start to see the sports pavilion, and here it is. It is roofed in. It's the warmest place to work on site right now. So it's coming along very nicely. The last area to be completed will be the soccer field, which is that orange clay color there. And we are receiving a donor contribution for the aggregate base, and that will probably go in the next 2 months. So as we walk around on the ground, just going backwards again, this is the sports pavilion on 10th Street, the framing of it, and the walls going up now. Concrete slab is down. The meandering pathway up to the Skydance through the existing trees, which we spent many years saving as many trees as we could, and we're hoping to trim the damage from the ice storm off before spring as well. Here we are looking at the sports courts, the pickleball court in the foreground, and the basketball courts in the background. On the promenade, and it's very much a continuation of the upper park. You can see there the normal lights on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you can see the bases for the stainless steel light masts by the art sculpture. This is the Hill Pavilion, the second building on the site. It's coming up nicely as well. It's a little slower than the sports pavilion, so as they finish the sports pavilion, you'll see this one be clad rather quickly now. This is the little plaza area next to the Hill Pavilion, which will be subject to a location for public art. And as we head south again, the stonework is just happening now for one side of the promenade, and concrete unipavers soon to start. So progress has been very well, and we hope to continue with that through this year. Just to give you a rundown of the change order, there's 6 items on this change order. The first 2 are credits back. One is to do with the earthworks balance. We are able to find places to use more dirt on site, so there's some savings back to the project for that. We were also able to value engineer some of the reinforcing in the sidewalks, and there's a credit due back for that. Item number 3 is relocating a valve out of a proposed curb cut ramp to ensure accessibility across the streets. There's $1,500 for that. Item number 4 is to find newly laid OG&E utilities. Unfortunately, they did not put them where they said they were going to put them, and we've had to go find them. So there's a charge there for $2,775 to locate those utilities. Item number 5 is upgrading the security cameras. Since we did the upper park, City IT has changed the type of camera that they use throughout the city, so we're upgrading the actual camera themselves. And with discussions with the operator, they requested 3 of the cameras be removed, relocated from what was going to be attached to the buildings out into the park to get better eyes on the park. So there's a cost of $23,206 for that. Last but not least is putting a concrete slab and a colored surfacing on the courts. When we went out to bid, we did not have the budget to do the court surfacing, and at that time we thought we would get contributions from donors. We have not been successful in that for the surfacing itself. We have been successful in securing equipment from donors. So we're at the kind of last stage of the construction sequence where this has little impact. So we would like to ask MAPS to fund this extra $422,510 to put the concrete surface down and receive these donor items to finish off the park and make it a playable surface. So all in all, that totals up to $436,466.82. Just as a reminder to the background, we're at change order number 9 here. It represents about 1.96% of the original contract value. The contract completion date remains the 2nd of September this year. And we are hopeful in working with the MAPS team and the design team and the construction team that we will be actually be able to finish earlier than that as well, if the weather cooperates with us. So all in all, some great progress, and we appreciate digging deep to fund the completion of the courts. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Well, looks like it's coming along great. It's always fun to go and see what's new happening. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is resolution approving change order number 9, project M3 P016-WC-1000/SC-1073 MAPS 3 Lower Scissortail Park, generally bounded by I-40, South Robinson Avenue, Southwest 15th Street, South Harvey Avenue, Southwest 10th Street, and South Walker Avenue, with an increase of $436,466.82, and authorizing the use of excess collections and of interest to fund change order number 9, Ward 6.
So this is the change order that Gavin just went through. All the items on there. The biggest item is the sports courts. And I just want to be perfectly clear that this is asking for excess collections. So right now, we have, in round numbers, $2.3 million in the excess collections and interest that's out there that's not obligated to anything. So we want to draw from that to continue to finish the park. We're doing everything we can not to have much more of this, but we didn't feel like it was a good idea to open the park without these sports courts, because I think a lot of people are looking forward to that. It's the only formal sports areas that we will have in this park, and I think it's a major piece of the lower park. So we felt like it really needed to happen. So we ask for your approval. It comes with the approval from those that were there at the subcommittee at the park. We did not have a quorum this month.
Okay, well, it has been moved by Cecilia Robinson Woods and seconded by Mike Dover. If you please make your vote. And it has passed. Okay, moving on. Item D, recommend approving revised maintenance bond number 1, project M3P006/WC-0920, MAPS 3 Scissortail Upper Park, 300 Southwest 7th Street, and place revising maintenance bond number 1 into effect through February 28, 2022, Ward 6. David?
So this is a little unusual, but not unusual for the city, but I don't believe we've done one of these. So we are going to revise this maintenance bond for the original park construction. The specifications say that the maintenance bond goes into effect at final acceptance. We couldn't do final acceptance on the park until all the plants were in. Well, some of the plants couldn't go in because of seasonal timing. You know, you don't want to plant plants in July. And some of these plants were also replacements because some of the plants didn't tolerate some of the conditions very well. The park was being used at the time, so we feel like it's only appropriate and fair to the contractor that we date the maintenance bond when the park was being used. We try to be fair with our contractors and not take advantage of them, and this would be unnecessary time that he would have to pay for. So that's why it's being backdated to the time that the park was being significantly used and not held just because of these plantings. He did do the plantings later on. And again, this comes from the recommendation from the Park Subcommittee, the members that were there.
Okay, do we have a motion? It's moved by Bob Nealon and seconded by Nathaniel Harding. If you place your vote, please. And it has passed. Okay, next item is recommend resolution authorizing the use of $2 million for Embark relocation expenses, project M3-P019, MAPS 3, Union Station renovation, 300 Southwest 7th Street, Ward 6.
So this item is really good news. We finally got Union Station clear from the FTA and in city hands. An agreement anyway, that it still has to go to council. But if you remember, Embark had a lot of staff that was in the building, some planning staff, and then also the river cruise people were down there. So we're moving them out. It's only right that we help them with the offices that they have to remodel and build at their South May office. So these are relocation expenses. The transfer of Union Station from FTA to Embark and Embark to the city is really at no cost. It's being transferred, but we need to pay the relocation expenses to make Embark whole, moving them out of their facility.
So this doesn't include any Union Station renovations, it's just moving them.
It does not. It comes out of that budget. So there was $17.5 million for that purpose. This will come out of that 17.5. So that will give the Union Station budget now a $15.5 million budget, all in, soft costs and everything. As soon as we get all of this taken care of, Public Works is going to start on completing the preliminary report that was started many months ago. We've just been waiting on this budget number because we didn't know how much it was going to cost. They will finish that, wrap that up, get that approved, and then hand off to the MAPS office and the Park Subcommittee and ultimately this board the final plans and the redevelopment of Union Station within that $15.5 million.
Where is Embark going?
Their current office is on South May,
Oh, okay.
about 13th and South May. They need to expand and remodel so they can get all those people in there.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Dee, I have a question. Obviously, the $2 million appears to be sort of a rough estimate of what the relocation costs would be. Is there some sort of oversight to make sure that those costs are properly expended? And if it takes less than that to relocate Embark, do the funds go back into the MAPS funds?
So I believe this is only a piece of the cost of the remodel. They are bearing some of the costs of their entire remodel. This is what the proportionate share of the people that had to be moved out. So I believe their remodeling is going to be more than $2 million. I'll check into that, Bob, further. I know that this money has to be used for capital improvements, so it won't be used for salaries or anything like that. It will be used for construction.
So your assumption at this point is the relocation is actually will be much more expensive than the $2 million, or the
That's what
renovation and relocation.
That's what I understand. I can verify that for you, but that's
Okay.
what I believe.
All right, thank you.
Do we have a motion? It's moved by Nathaniel Harding and seconded by Bob Nealon. If you'd place your vote, please. And it has passed. And now the last item on our agenda is recommended approval of change order number 3, project M3H002B, MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center, number 1, additional improvements 11501 North Rockwell Avenue, an increase of $81,522, Ward 8.
So recall that we're doing additions and some renovations at Wellness Center 1. as they started working on the slab for the gymnasium that will be added out there, some bad soil was encountered, as happens. Significant amount of bad soil. It was that fat clay that is not good for under a building, and because of the moisture that's in there. So that all that soil needed to be removed, remediated, and this is the cost for replacing that soil and doing what's necessary to get it stabilized. There's also a time extension on here at no cost, but there's an additional 26 days because of this additional work and because of some adverse weather conditions that were towards the end of last year. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Hello? Okay. Isn't this addition to Wellness Center 1 the one that's in the partnership with the church?
It's the operator is Healthy Living. We're not actually in partnership with the church.
But I thought the expansion, we bought the land from the church, and
Yes.
the partners were helping raise some private funds to do some things as well with the expansion, because we weren't bearing the burden of the full expansion, if I'm correct.
No, the expansion that we've got going on right now is all MAPS money being used.
So, this has all been so long ago, but I thought in the proposal for expansion, we had approved lots of things. They didn't maybe buy all of the land that was available, or they didn't take all of it because they said they were going to raise some private funds to do some things that we didn't, or they didn't ask us to do in the expansion.
Right.
Okay, all right. So I guess my question then is if this is an expansion that we're doing with the operator, and this is still the land around the church, I'm just wondering why MAPS is bearing the full burden for the change order.
So we bought the land from the church to build the wellness center, and this is all
it's
on
ours.
that land.
Okay.
What the operator was going to do is some other programming things. They were going to build the greenhouse that was out back, and we were going to build the pad. So that's still
Okay,
still out there, but all of this work is what was bid through our office.
okay, all right. That's what I was just making sure that this was happening. And
You know, I'm sure that the operator's still buying other equipment that they're using in the building, and they're staffing the people, and there's some other things that we just weren't able to afford that they'll be handling. But this is all on us.
And so with this, it's a change order. So this is within the budget, within the contingency that was
Yes.
built into that. So this doesn't go, okay.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay, if we have a motion. It's moved by Michael Dover and seconded by Nathaniel Harding. And if we would place your vote, please. And it has passed. And that ends up our items for consideration today. So under new business, do we have any new business, David?
No, ma'am.
Any MAPS 3 Citizens Advisory Board Subcommittee reports?
I'm excited to see all of the progress on Wellness Center number 3. It's really exciting to drive by and see. Once they got all the steel up, it got big real quick. So it looks good. It looks really good.
Okay, any update status of MAPS 3 programs,
Well,
David?
you saw the update on the park, and as Ms. Robinson Woods said, progress is continuing on Wellness Center 3. Steel is up. It's starting to look like a building. You can really get a sense of what it's going to be. Wellness 4 is also under construction, and there are some pieces of it up. They poured the slab this week, so it's well under construction. We've got notice for architectural services out for the trails that we've talked about, the Katy Trail and the Air Depot Trail. Continue to work on the Fairgrounds Coliseum with those monies. So there's still a lot going on behind the scenes. Sidewalk plans are being reviewed, so this summer we'll be building that last bit of sidewalks.
Okay. Do we have any comments by the board, staff, or citizens today?
I thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. I know it can be a difficult time.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess we are now adjourned. Thank you. I think Tom will be back next month, and we're good. Thank you so much.